Alright guys, I don't know about you, but I'm definitely trying to finish watching season 3 of The Boys, so we're gonna make this video quick and simple. Episode 2, F.A. Barber, F.A. Crypto Barber. Follow me on TikTok, follow me on the gram, F.A. Barbershop. Anyway, guys, episode 2, we're gonna talk about some of the beginner things you need to know about mining crypto. Step number 1. What kind of motherboard are you going to be using? Right? I would heavily think about this because the kind of motherboard that you decide on getting, whether you're a gamer, whatever you're into, right? Because a lot of the guys that play video games that already have motherboards for video games, you could be mining, right? A lot of the gaming motherboards, they take like definitely more than one GPU. But for guys, the number one thing you want to consider when you're mining crypto is what kind of motherboard are you going to try to get? This motherboard in particular is an H10 Pro BTC by ASRock. It's actually designated specifically for mining. Give you guys a closer look. This motherboard has 12 PCIe lanes. In other words, you can put up to 12 GPUs on this motherboard. And that's really important because however many GPUs you attach to your motherboard is going to influence, you know, your crypto generating power. Let's just call it that for layman's terms. But guys, we jumping right in, okay? You want to try to get a motherboard that has multiple PCIe lanes, aka, you know, GPU slots, right? Right. Another thing that you definitely want to consider and make sure you know you are getting when you're building your mining rig, which essentially is really just like building any computer. It's like building any computer, guys. Building a mining rig is like building any computer that you would use for gaming or for personal use. The only thing that's a little bit different is that you're going to be using it for mining. And you're not going to be putting this thing inside of a computer case. You know, you can, but if you're planning on expanding with multiple GPUs, you are going to want to, you know, have an open air frame, you know, where you're literally, everything is just out and about. You know, it's pretty much just not in a case. It's all in your face. Bars. It's not in a case. It's all in your face. So, all right, guys, we jumping right in, okay? This is the H10 Pro BTC motherboard. We are looking at it. Let me adjust the GoPro. Okay, we are looking at it, right? And these things right here are your PCIe lanes. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Actually, there's 13. My mistake. There's 13. Let me count that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 PCIe lanes. So what does that mean? That means you can plug up to 13 GPUs on this motherboard. That is freaking amazing. And again, guys, like I've been mining for a little bit. I've been mining for maybe a little bit over a year. And yeah, like I just want to start showing my friends and showing people online how to do this, because I'm understanding that the only way I can help myself is by helping other people, especially if it comes down to making money. So like and subscribe to the page for sure. All right. So when you're building this motherboard, right, you're going to have to consider your RAM, right? And again, whatever motherboard you decide to buy, you can just hop on Google. I'm trying to take this thing out as I'm talking to you guys. Oh, probably should unlock this part too. Again, you want to go on Google, and Google is going to tell you what RAM sticks you know, DDR, this is a DDR4 2400, 8 gig for Intel, and it's 2.0, right? And right here on the box, it tells you, right there, Intel Core, right? I believe this is LGA. So you wanna know before buying your stuff, what is compatible, right? What's the compatibility? So that as you're building this monster, taking this thing apart, and then here we go. I have two 8 gig DDR4 2400 8 gig RAM sticks that I attached to this motherboard, right? And again, you can just hop on Google, type in, you know, your motherboard, the name of it, H10, and it'll tell you what RAM sticks and what CPUs that are compatible with your motherboard. So if you're on a budget, you know, try to have an idea, you know, if you have a $1,000 budget, $800 budget, whatever. I believe the H10 Pro, and don't quote me, it was like $250 at the time. But anyway, you want to know for sure what is compatible with my motherboard when you are building this mining rig, okay? Okay. Then again, your CPU. I showed you where your RAM goes and your CPU. Your CPU is this little square thing right there. And that's where your CPU goes. Make sure, I should probably put on my, so I'm not touching this thing. I'm going to put on my anti-static mat thingamajig, all right? You don't have to have this on, but it's just, you know, if you want to be safe, especially if you're spending all this money on this stuff, you want to make sure you're taking all the precautionary steps so you don't short anything, right? I believe this box, what I'm having on top of this box is this material that this box is made out of. It's like I believe it's like electrostatic proof. So that's why I have the motherboard on top of this box. I remember reading it online. And if you threw out your box already, then if you get a piece of wood and you put it on top, you'll be fine, right? You need a conductor, I believe it's called. All right, we're jumping right in because I'm trying to watch this episode, man. If you haven't seen The Boys, bro, that show it's fucking awesome, man. You got to see that show. It's like evil. It's like superheroes, but the evil kind. Anyway, we're jumping right in. CPU goes right in this little square. I ended up getting the Core i7 Intel. I forget how much it cost. It was like $400 or $500. And honestly, here I am in retrospect. I didn't even need to get. You don't need to get the best of the best, man. Because when you're GPU mining, it's focused on the GPU. So you don't need to get anything super crazy, especially if you're on a budget. Don't get hyped. You know what I mean? I got hyped and I wanted to get the best RAM and the best CPU just to realize that, you know, as long as you can get your motherboard to turn on, then you're clear. I ended up getting an i7. I believe it was like $400 or $500 at the time, and whatever. It does attribute to the, you know, efficiency of the rig, but yo, you can get away with an i5, I think, or i3, whatever. You just need the thing to turn on. Okay. So we talked about your RAM. The CPU goes right here. Please be careful when you are putting your CPU in its little squat, because there are pins underneath this thing. Let me show you guys. All right. There are pins underneath this thing that can easily, what the fuck? They can easily get squashed. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see that. Where's my little magnifying glass? All right, with the little LED light. Let's see if you guys can see that. I don't know if that's a better look for you guys. I'm trying to. But yeah, like there's these little ass pins underneath where you can squash this shit if you're being. Let me adjust this for you. So please be careful when you're putting your CPU back in this slot. All right, because those pins underneath, if you fuck that up, it's over. Your motherboard is not going to post, which means it's not going to, that screen when you turn on your computer and you see the logo and, you know, it makes that cool sound and all that. Yeah, you're not going to see that. It's not going to turn on because you fucked up the CPU, the central processing unit, which is like the brains of the computer. It's crazy. Something as simple as that. If you fuck that up, yeah, it's not gonna, I believe the term is post. It's not gonna post, which means when you turn on, the power might turn on. You might see your lights are going to turn on. Things are going to look cool. Your battery, you know, because it's connected to the outlet. Cool. And yeah, you're not going to see anything pop up on your computer because the CPU is fucked. So please be careful when you're applying the CPU onto your motherboard. Apply a little bit of thermal paste and slap your fan or your cooler on top of that, depending on how hard you want to go. I ended up getting a CPU cooler. It's over there on the rig setup, but I'm not going to show you guys that right now. By the way, FA, it's a long story, guys. Visit fadingautism.org for more information. Okay, but yeah, I help kids with special needs get haircuts at my barbershop. So yeah, but anyway, and I've been doing that since 2015. My little bro got autism, so I figured I'll help people like him, and it's been going pretty well. We could use more help, could use more support, but just trying to, you know, make a little difference that I can. Like us on Facebook too, why not? Fading Autism. All right, we're done with that spill. Back to the mining. We talked about RAM, we talked about your CPU. Cool. Now let's talk about the GPU, right? And I think I will stop. I won't stop, nah, can't stop, won't stop. So your GPU, right? We have a 3070 GPU right here. So for the next few minutes, I'm gonna talk to you guys about your GPU, which stands for Graphic Processing Unit. Episode 1, we talked briefly about it. You know, it was kind of like a BS first episode, but now we're really jumping into this. And again, I want to show you guys some of the basic things you're gonna need to start mining. All right, this is definitely a beginner's guide. There's definitely other guys out there that you know talk about mining and are better at mining than I am, but you know, I figured I'm doing it my way. All right, FA Crypto Barber, and I'll be posting haircuts too, but today's episode is about GPU mining and how to start, and a beginner's guide to start building your shit, right? Because the sooner you build it, the sooner you can start stacking crypto. And though the market sucks right now, it doesn't mean, you know, you shouldn't be brave, and you can still fucking work, you know? You can still get your shit together while the storm is going. But all right, bam. GPU mining. This is a GPU. This is a 3070 gigabytes, okay? Now, you are going to need a riser, right? We talked about the CPU. We talked about the RAM, right? The RAM sticks. Now, something else you're gonna need to officially do this is a GPU riser, which looks like this, guys. Let me bring this up. All right, your riser, if you don't have a riser, this shit is not going to work, because your riser, you plug it into your GPU like this. All right, I'll show you guys. I'm gonna sit back a little bit so you can see this a little bit. Actually, no, I'm gonna sit up. All right, you're gonna plug your riser. Your riser, this is the second part. This is the other piece of your riser. Okay, you plug it up to right here, right? I don't know if you guys can see that. Boop. And I'll post a link to where you can buy risers to on the video. Okay, so now if you're a gamer and let's say you only have 2 or 3 slots for your GPU, or 1, let's say you just want to do 1, then you technically wouldn't need a riser. This is for guys that want to mine with more than 1 GPU. You're gonna need a riser. All right, okay, boop. I'll put the link in the bio. You take your riser, you plug it into the PCIe port, like this. Okay, 1 out of the 13 slots that's there. And then you take your other part of the actual riser and you plug it into your GPU, like this. Make sure you know you match it, which I just had this shit backwards. Now your riser also has a SATA, just like that, right? You want to give it a light little push, make sure. And then there's this little lock in the back right here, and you just push it up. And when it's up, there's no way you can take out this riser. The riser also has a SATA cable, and the SATA you're going to use to attach to your battery. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But most importantly, guys, you want to purchase your riser, especially you want to get a few of them, especially if your motherboard has 13 slots. You're going to need, 12 risers, because on this slot, you can literally plug the GPU right up on there. Or you can still take your riser and plug it there too. It'll be fine. I wouldn't recommend putting a GPU right on there because it's going to be a heavy ass GPU on the with all the other SATA. Nah, not me. And actually, I wouldn't even fill it up to 13. I'll probably stop at 12. You can't be too greedy. And next thing you know, you're blowing shit up. So try not to maximize the thing too much, but that's just my opinion. To each his own. But all right, guys. Riser attached to the motherboard, which is attached to the GPU, which the GPU, in order to turn this thing on, has a SATA attached to the riser. I'm sorry. The riser, it powers up on its own. You're going to then plug power to your GPU. So you're going to be plugging up a 8-pin and a 6-pin to your power, right? And you're also going to be using a SATA cable to plug to your PSU as well, power supply unit. All right, guys. So I'm going to stop right there I guess I'm going to have to do this in a few parts because I don't want these videos to be all lengthy and shit, and it gets boring, and you might fucking, want to make some popcorn, or, you might want to fucking just chill, and it's like, god damn, this motherfucker been talking for damn near 20 minutes. So I'm going to stop there, guys. But remember, take into consideration the kind of motherboard you're going to get, number one, because that's going to influence how many GPUs you can attach to this thing. The RAM, you're going to need RAM, right? Make sure it's compatible with the motherboard. Because I think even if your RAM is not compatible, if you just go ahead and get any kind of fucking RAM, it won't work. It won't turn on. Something's going to go wrong, and you're not going to be able to mine. And most importantly, your CPU, your central processing unit, you better fucking make sure that you get a compatible CPU with your motherboard, or you damn sure will not be mining. Right? I believe the H10 Pro, I don't want to take everything apart, lift this up again, but it's like LGA 1151 or whatever. But again, guys, hop into the mining game. Don't be scared. Everybody talking, oh man, electricity out the woozah, whatever, man. Listen, at one point, I was having a good time mining Ethereum. This is before the merge. And with the few GPUs that I did have over there, you can see I have about 8 GPUs, mostly 3070s. Take this thing off. I was making, while at the barber shop, right? And this video can also be for entrepreneurs out there. But bro, I was making like 20 to 25 bucks a day, every day while I was busting my ass at work, which at the end of the month, after paying that electricity, it was like a cool 700 bucks coming in, when things were decent. And now with, the merge happening and all the miners are trying to figure out what's the next coin and blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, in the meantime, I'm just making these videos. Being that I really can't mine right now, I might as well show you guys how to build a mining rig, right? Because I'm understanding that in order to help myself, why not help others? That's the best fucking formula. And with that, I'm out. I'm about to finish watching the episode of The Boys. Comment in the video if you like The Boys, because that joint is hot. And I'll holler at y'all later, man. We're gonna make part 2 to the beginner guide on how to build a mining rig. Probably do it in 3 seconds. All right, and like me on Facebook, Fading Autism. Peace.